They laugh at you. They whisper behind your back. They call you weak, naive, irrelevant. Every insult, every smirk, every doubt cast upon you is a chain they think you cannot break. But that chain is your weapon. That doubt is your fuel. The world has a blind spot. It underestimates the quiet ones, the ones who wait, the ones who observe while others boast and bluster. That blind spot is your advantage. Every time they dismiss you, every time they ignore you, you grow in ways they cannot see. They do not notice the careful patience of a mind sharpening itself on solitude, on reflection, on pain. The underestimated have a secret. Power is not in the flash. Power is not in the noise. Power is in the shadow. Those who underestimate you teach you without knowing. They hand you the blueprint for your rise. Every insult, every betrayal, every moment of ridicule becomes a lesson. You learn what to avoid, what to endure, what to strike against. While they are busy performing, you are strategizing. While they are blind with arrogance, you are blind with purpose. Loneliness is your ally. Most run from it, desperate for validation, desperate for comfort. But the underestimated thrive there. Solitude is where the mind sharpens, where the soul steels itself. In the quiet, you confront yourself, your weaknesses, your fears, your desires, and you learn to turn each into a weapon. The world teaches you to avoid pain. Stoicism teaches you to embrace it. Stoicism teaches that every slight, every setback, every betrayal is not an obstacle, but a stepping stone. The underestimated do not seek permission. They do not wait for approval. They endure silently and emerge transformed. Consider this. When the world underestimates you, it reveals its own weakness. They believe the game is theirs to control. They believe the loudest voice dictates the rules. They mistake action for strategy, arrogance for power, ego for dominance, and in that mistake lies your advantage. You move unseen, you gather intelligence, you build resilience, you learn to strike with precision. The underestimated have patience, and patience is a weapon sharper than any blade. Pain becomes your tutor. Every betrayal, every failure, every heartbreak chisels you into something harder, colder, sharper. You learn to survive in chaos, to thrive where others crumble. Pain is not a curse, it is the crucible of mastery. Those who are underestimated can endure more because they have been forced to. These civilized people, they have faced the shadows others refuse to enter. They have confronted themselves, stripped of pretense and pride, and have seen what others cannot bear to face. That endurance becomes invisible armor. Watch the world chase recognition, chase applause, chase fleeting victories. They waste their energy on validation, on proving themselves to the people who already doubt them. And while they burn out, you grow. Quietly, invisibly, efficiently. Every slight you endure without retaliation is a lesson in patience. Every sneer you ignore is a lesson in control. Every insult you internalize is fuel for your eventual emergence. There is a dark power in being underestimated. It is not a power the world respects. It is a power it fears once it becomes visible. You are free to observe, free to learn, free to prepare. While the arrogant make mistakes, the underestimated learn from them. They see weakness in the strongest, cracks in the armor of the untouchable. They understand patterns. They anticipate moves, people, and when the time comes, they strike not out of emotion, not out of revenge, but out of inevitability. It is a quiet domination, a patient conquest. The underestimated are the storm no one sees coming. The psychology of being underestimated is simple but cruel. The world conditions you to seek approval, to fight in the open, to display your strength. But those who embrace being underestimated reject that conditioning. They understand that real power is not loud, it is invisible, it is subtle. It is cultivated in the dark corners of thought and experience that others avoid. People, you learn to master yourself first, because the world cannot teach mastery, it can only test it. And the underestimated do not fail these tests. They pass them silently, accumulating power that others cannot measure. Isolation teaches strategy. Observation teaches control. Pain teaches resilience. Betrayal teaches trust in no one but yourself. Civilized people, every underestimated person becomes a student of life in ways that the celebrated never are. They study motives, weaknesses, and desires. They learn to read people like books. They practice restraint. They anticipate outcomes. And above all, they do not reveal the depth of their preparation. The underestimated are patient predators, moving slowly while the world rushes, striking with precision when opportunity finally bends toward them. Many will ask, why endure the suffering, the ridicule, the loneliness? Why allow the world to see only the shadow of your potential? People. Because the underestimated understand a fundamental truth: power, once visible, becomes targeted. When you rise too soon, the world reacts. When you strike prematurely, your enemies adapt. But when you cultivate your strength in secret, when you endure without recognition, you create inevitability. You do not force the world to respect you. You force it to acknowledge you. These civilized people, an acknowledgement from the unprepared is far more devastating than any applause. History favors the underestimated. Every empire that fell, every king dethroned, every revolution that succeeded, it was executed by those overlooked, dismissed, considered harmless. They studied, they waited, they endured. And when the moment came, they acted with such precision that the world could only react. Being underestimated is not weakness. It is the preparation for unstoppable power. Stoicism plays a crucial role here. Emotions are tools, not masters. Anger, despair, loneliness, they are data points, signals to be understood and utilized. The underestimated do not drown in them. They extract lessons. They learn to convert bitterness into clarity, isolation into strategy, pain into momentum. They walk through a world that mocks them and emerge unbroken, because they have already survived the worst the world can offer. Do not mistake patience for submission. Quiet endurance is not weakness, it is calculated strength. While others perform for validation, people, while they squander energy proving themselves, you gather resources of the mind, of skill, of understanding. You grow in depth. You anticipate the world's moves before they happen. You strike where the world is most vulnerable. The underestimated are not reactive, they are inevitable. Look around. These civilized people, the people who underestimate you, do not see your potential because they cannot conceive of the discipline, the patience, the inner fortitude required to survive without recognition. They are comfortable with mediocrity. They seek comfort, not mastery. They fear pain, not embrace it. And in that fear, they reveal their weakness. Every doubt cast at you is an admission of their own inability. Every sneer, a roadmap to your eventual ascent. They have given you knowledge you could never buy. The underestimated understand timing. They understand that power displayed too early invites opposition. They understand that strategy without patience is wasted. They cultivate invisibility. They hide their intentions. They mask their strength. And when the moment arrives, when opportunity aligns with preparation, they act decisively. The world underestimates them until it is too late, and the effect is devastating. Power, its purest form, is quiet. It is patient. It is invisible. Those who understand this truth, those who embrace being underestimated, cultivate a strength that is untouchable. They are not slaves to emotion. They are not desperate for validation. They are not distracted by ego. They are focused. They are deliberate. They are inevitable. And here is the cruelest irony: the very people who laugh at you, who dismiss you, who betray you, they are the ones who unknowingly forge your weapon. They fuel your patience, your strategy, your resilience. Every slight is a hammer shaping your resolve. Every betrayal is a lesson in manipulation, control, and human weakness. Every moment of loneliness is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to transform. The underestimated learn to master time itself. They understand that most seek instant gratification. They chase recognition, reward, and applause. But the underestimated know that mastery requires time, preparation, and suffering. They are willing to endure discomfort today to create dominance tomorrow. They accept the slow burn, the long path, the unseen work. And when their time arrives, it is overwhelming because it is precise, inevitable, and unstoppable. The world will test you. It will push you to your limits. It will betray you in ways you never imagined. And it is in these moments of unbearable pressure that the underestimated reveal their true nature. You learn that pain is not to be avoided. It is to be endured, dissected, and weaponized. Every rejection, every loss, every moment of being dismissed teaches you a lesson that the loud and arrogant can never grasp. You begin to see the patterns in human behavior. You understand that loyalty is rare, trust is fleeting, and appearances are deceiving. The underestimated learn to operate in the gray areas of human interaction. They understand that people are predictable when you know what motivates them. Fear, desire, envy, people, and pride, these are the levers that control the world. Those who are underestimated do not merely observe, they analyze. They catalog weaknesses, remember betrayals, and store grudges not for vengeance, but for insight. Every slight becomes data. Every insult becomes information. And when the time is right, that information becomes power. Most people are reactive. They respond to the world with emotion, with instinct, with untrained reflex. The underestimated are different. They are deliberate. They are calculated. They pause before acting. They measure before speaking. They endure before striking. And in that patience lies dominance. The underestimated do not need to prove themselves. They need only to wait, to prepare, and to understand. By the time the world realizes their capability, it is already too late. Consider loneliness again. It is not simply a void, it is a battlefield. It is where you confront every part of yourself that society has told you to ignore. Your fears, your anger, your shame, your ambition, they all collide in solitude. And the underestimated face them. They stare into the abyss of their own mind and emerge unbroken. In solitude, they develop an immunity to distraction, a resilience to criticism, and a clarity of purpose that the distracted masses cannot comprehend. They learn that the world is meaningless without mastery of self. Betrayal is another teacher. It is sharp. It is cold. It cuts deeper than any insult. But the underestimated learn to extract lessons from betrayal rather than wallow in it. They study motives, identify weaknesses, and understand human nature in ways that the trusting never do. Those who betray you reveal themselves. They reveal patterns of greed, fear, and weakness. And you remember, you store it. You let it fuel your transformation. Revenge is not always immediate. Sometimes the underestimated wait years, shaping their minds, perfecting their strategy, until the moment comes when betrayal becomes irrelevant because power has already shifted. Every underestimated person develops an instinct for timing. People, they learn that action without preparation is foolish, and preparation without action is wasted. People, they cultivate a sense of inevitability. They understand that life does not reward impulsivity. It rewards strategy, patience, and endurance. And this sense of inevitability is terrifying to those who have mocked them. They do not see it coming because they refuse to believe that the quiet, overlooked, dismissed figure could be more than what they appear. Anger, fear, and resentment are tools, not chains. The underestimated do not allow these emotions to control them, they harness them. Anger sharpens focus. Fear teaches caution. Resentment becomes clarity of vision. The world sees a calm exterior, but beneath it, the underestimated are building power. They convert weakness into strength, pain into motivation, people and adversity into opportunity. This transformation is silent, invisible, and unstoppable. The underestimated learn the art of deception, not to manipulate for trivial gain, but to protect themselves, to obscure their intent, and to observe the world in its unguarded moments. People reveal their nature when they believe no one is watching. And the underestimated are always watching. They understand that trust is a commodity to be earned, not given. They know that appearances are weapons. They study behavior, tone, and expression, and in doing so, they gain a map of human weakness that others never see. It is in struggle that character is forged. Every setback, every insult, every betrayal becomes a test. And the underestimated do not merely pass, they excel. They develop a mental toughness that is unmatched, a resilience that is enviable, and a patience that borders on the supernatural. They do not flinch when others panic. They do not despair when others collapse. They understand that life is a series of tests, and they are prepared for the long game. The underestimated become masters of perspective. They see the fleeting nature of praise, the fragility of alliances, and the inevitability of loss. They do not chase approval or admiration because they understand that these are illusions. True power is internal. It is rooted in skill, in patience, and in the mastery of self. They do not react to the world, they shape their response to it. And in shaping their response, they control the outcome. Every underestimated person develops a sense of detachment. They learn not to be ruled by desire, by fear, or by ego. They understand that the world is a stage full of players desperate for attention, and they refuse to become a pawn. They cultivate self-discipline, mental clarity, and emotional fortitude. They move through life with precision, their actions deliberate, their decisions informed, their intentions hidden until the moment they must be revealed. Isolation, pain, betrayal, ridicule, they all serve a purpose. They are the invisible hands guiding the underestimated toward mastery. They teach patience. They teach awareness. They teach resilience. The world sees suffering as a curse, but the underestimated see it as an opportunity. They understand that the longer they endure unnoticed, the greater their eventual power. Every slight, every insult, every moment of invisibility is a step toward dominance. Consider the psychology of waiting. Pull. The underestimated do not rush. They do not act prematurely. They understand that timing is everything. The impatient strike and fail. The arrogant reveal their strategy and are defeated. The underestimated observe, calculate, and anticipate. Bull. They understand the landscape of human weakness and exploit it when the world is least prepared. And when they strike, it is decisive, calculated, and irreversible. Pain teaches endurance. Solitude teaches strategy, and betrayal teaches insight. But above all, the underestimated learn humility and discipline. They understand that power is not entitlement. It is earned step by step, moment by moment, through suffering and patience. They do not seek immediate gratification. They understand that the world's applause is meaningless without mastery. They prepare quietly, endure patiently, and strike inevitably. The underestimated embrace discomfort. They understand that life is inherently uncomfortable, unpredictable, and cruel. The loud, the arrogant, the impulsive, they seek comfort, avoid pain, and crave recognition. The underestimated seek the opposite. They embrace challenge, endure pain, and reject validation. In doing so, they cultivate internal strength that is untouchable. They become immune to distraction, impervious to ridicule, and resistant to manipulation. Every underestimated person becomes a strategist. They understand human behavior, they anticipate outcomes, and they exploit weaknesses. They do not fight every battle. They choose the right battle at the right moment. They understand that true victory is not in noise, it is in results. And when they succeed, people, it is not a triumph of chance, it is the culmination of deliberate preparation, patient endurance, and unyielding focus. The underestimated become invisible forces, moving through life unnoticed, shaping the world quietly, accumulating power, while others squander theirs in arrogance and haste. They are the ones who endure, who observe, who calculate, who wait. And when their moment arrives, it is devastating. The world did not see it coming. They were blinded by their own assumptions. And the underestimated, patient, disciplined, and focused emerge victorious, inevitable, and unstoppable. The underestimated finally emerge, not by force, not by chance, but by inevitability. Years of preparation, patience, and quiet endurance converge into a moment of absolute clarity and power. They have endured isolation, absorbed betrayal, converted pain into wisdom, and mastered the art of strategy. Now they're no longer invisible. Now they are unstoppable. Transformation begins in the mind. The underestimated understand that mastery over the self is the foundation of mastery over the world. Impulse, ego, and desire are no longer chains, they are tools. They act not because the world demands it, but because their preparation dictates it. Their timing is perfect. Their decisions are deliberate. Their strikes are precise. And the effect is inevitable. The underestimated do not seek revenge, they impose reality. Those who doubted them discover too late that power cannot be resisted once fully realized. The first stage of ultimate power is control over emotion, over thought, over reaction. The underestimated have spent years perfecting this control. Anger does not consume them, it sharpens them. Fear does not paralyze them, it alerts them. Doubt does not weaken them, it guides them. Their mind is a fortress unassailable, calm and precise, and from this fortress, they make decisions with clarity that those blinded by pride and arrogance cannot match. The second stage is leverage. Knowledge of human nature becomes a weapon. The underestimated know how to manipulate outcomes without the world realizing it. They understand motives, weaknesses, and desires. They exploit them quietly, efficiently, decisively. Every ally and every enemy becomes part of a chessboard they control. They act only when victory is certain. These civilized people, and in doing so, they turn underestimation into domination. The world mistakes their patience for weakness, not knowing that it is the foundation of power. The third stage is inevitability. The underestimated become forces the world cannot stop because their power is not built on chance or noise. It is built on preparation, foresight, and mastery of self. They do not act rashly. They do not react impulsively. They move deliberately, strike precisely, people, and achieve what others only dream of. Every action is calculated, every decision intentional. And when they succeed, it is not celebrated, it is recognized as unavoidable. They have become the storm that was always coming. Those who underestimated them are destroyed by their own assumptions. Every insult, every act of mockery, every betrayal becomes irrelevant in the face of inevitable success. The underestimated do not need to explain themselves. They do not need approval. Their results speak louder than any words, louder than any arrogance, louder than any mockery. They have become the reality the world refused to believe. Power, at this stage, is no longer about fear or dominance. It is about freedom. The chips of people, the underestimated are free from the need for validation, free from the need for applause, free from the chains of expectation. They are not beholden to the world. They are architects of it. They choose their battles. They dictate the terms. They act with precision and control. And in this freedom, they discover the ultimate truth, that being underestimated was never a disadvantage. It was the most powerful advantage of all. Revenge, when it comes, is not emotional, it is inevitable. Those who betrayed, doubted, or mocked are exposed by the skill, patience, and precision of the underestimated. It is not messy. It is not loud. It is calculated, deliberate, and complete. They do not need to rage, they act. They do not need to explain, they dominate. And the world watches, powerless to reverse the outcome, because the underestimated have mastered time, patience, and themselves. The underestimated understand that ultimate power requires continuous vigilance. Mastery is not a destination, it is a practice. They continue to observe, to learn, to adapt. People, they understand that the world changes, that people evolve, and that power must be maintained. And in doing so, they remain untouchable, unchallenged, and inevitable. Every lesson learned in solitude, every betrayal endured, every insult absorbed, becomes a foundation for further strength. The underestimated never stop improving. They are always preparing for the next inevitable move. Transformation is not just external, it is internal. The underestimated evolve into beings who see reality with clarity that others cannot comprehend. They understand the true nature of people, the fleeting nature of fortune, and the permanence of skill. They are detached, calm, and precise. They do not need the approval of the world. They are architects of their own destiny. And in this transformation, they achieve what the overestimated never will: true mastery, absolute power, and unshakable confidence. The world underestimates them once again, but this time it is irrelevant. The underestimated have become untouchable because they have transcended the expectations of others. They operate on a level that is invisible to the masses. They are strategic, disciplined, and inevitable. They do not flaunt their power, they embody it. They are calm, precise, and absolute. And those who doubted them can only watch as the underestimated reshape the world according to their will. The final lesson is this: being underestimated is not punishment, it is a gift. Every slight, every insult, every act of dismissal is an opportunity. Opportunity to grow, to learn, to endure, to transform. The underestimated learn patience. They learn strategy. They learn mastery. And when they emerge, they do so as forces of nature, unstoppable, inevitable, and supreme. Those who mock them become footnotes in the story they were too blind to see unfolding. The underestimated do not beg for power. They do not crave recognition. They do not fight for attention. They build and prepare. And when the time comes, they act. They strike. They dominate. And in that moment, they become immortal in the minds of those who doubted them. They have turned invisibility into inevitability, patience into power, and suffering into strength. These civilized people, they are proof that the world's judgment is worthless compared to preparation, endurance, and mastery of self. Remember this: every insult you endure, every betrayal you survive, People, every moment the world underestimates you, it is fuel. Fuel for transformation. Fuel for mastery. Fuel for the inevitable moment when your power becomes undeniable. The underestimated do not cry. They do not rage, they wait. They endure. They prepare. And when they strike, they are unstoppable. The underestimated are the shadows in which true power grows. They are the quiet storm before the chaos. They are the inevitability the world refuses to see. And when they emerge, they are no longer underestimated. They are unstoppable, undeniable, and eternal. So embrace the underestimation. Welcome the solitude, the pain, the ridicule, and the betrayal. Learn to endure it, let it transform you. And when the moment comes, rise. Rise with precision. Rise with inevitability. Rise with power, because the world has taught you everything it can without even realizing it. And in that lesson, you have become unstoppable. Do not seek permission. Do not demand recognition. Let your results speak. Let your patience define you. Let your transformation be inevitable. And when the world finally sees you, it will see only what it failed to understand, that being underestimated is the most dangerous, most powerful, and most unstoppable force there is. You have endured. You have waited. You have learned. You have transformed. And now, the underestimated rise, not for applause, not for revenge, not for approval, but because they are inevitable. And inevitability, once realized, cannot be resisted.